Hi everyone, this is Katie Sharp with IDT 7074's Model Resource Project, and this presentation will cover the Assure model. The Assure model was created by Hynek, Melinda, Russell, and Smaldino, and this model outlines a clear process for designing instruction that incorporates media and technology, and it's a very valued design model, especially for pre-K-12 educators. Hynek, Melinda, Russell, and Smaldino created a text called Instructional Media and Technologies for Learning, which you can see on the right side of the screen. And this text outlines the Assure model and also has other resources for how educators can create lessons and learning environments that incorporate media and technology successfully. So these folks have really been an important crew in how media and technology shows up in K-12 learning environments. The Assure model is a little different from other instructional design models in that it does not use a pictorial representation for the process of design. Instead, this model uses an acronym, and the acronym shows the 6 steps that take place when you utilize this model. As you can see on the screen, those steps are A, analyze learners, S, state objectives, S, select methods, media, and materials, U, utilize technology, media, and materials, R, require learner participation, and E, evaluate and revise. Now that you know the steps of the model, we're going to break each of those steps down. The first step in the Assure model is analyze learners. This step is considered a critical component to the design model, as it's in this phase of the process that learners' characteristics and abilities are gathered by the teacher or the designer. These characteristics are then used throughout the remainder of the design process as objectives, strategies, and assessments are created and selected based on the information acquired during this step. While analyzing learners can look different depending on the content, the context, and the relationship between the designer and learner, this step in the model informs a great deal of the remaining components of the process and should not be overlooked. The second step of the Assure model, State Objectives, focuses on setting objectives clearly and measurably for learners. Hynek, Melinda, Russell, and Smaldino discuss another acronym, A, B, C, D, for assistance when completing the second step of their model. ABCD stands for Audience, Behavior, Conditions, and Degree. ABCD helps designers focus their objectives on the learner, the end performance goal, where the learning and performing will take place, and how the objectives will be demonstrated. Successful objective statements address each of these important pieces and give learners a clear understanding of what they'll learn and how they're going to be asked to demonstrate their learning. It also provides the educator or designer with a clear roadmap for how they're going to evaluate their instructional design and the use of technology within that design. Here's an example of a successfully stated objective. At the end of this brief presentation, each fellow IDT 7074 graduate student will identify the 6 steps of the Assure model with 99% accuracy. Select methods, media, and materials is the third step in the Assure model. This step addresses the need for teachers to find the necessary materials and strategies to successfully implement their lessons and objectives. Educators have a variety of strategies or methods at their disposal. The learner analysis will help teachers and designers select the strategies that will be most helpful in working towards objectives. For instance, will their lesson be teacher-centered, or will students work independently? Once the strategies have been identified, the teacher or designer can identify which materials and which pieces of technology will be most beneficial for learners in achieving the stated goals. Most often, teachers will utilize the materials and technologies that they have access to through their school, but the designers of this model also talk about how teachers can create their own media and materials if they don't already have access to what they were hoping to use for a successful lesson. The next step in this model is to utilize the methods, media, and materials. Educators and designers should have a plan for how they're going to use the tools they select, and should take every precaution possible to make certain that what they have selected can be used as planned. The authors of the model talk about the increased availability of media and the philosophical shift from teacher-centered to student-centered learning. They talk about the likelihood of students actually using materials themselves as opposed to individuals or teachers presenting materials to them. This makes this step all the more important. The creators of the model suggest implementing the 5 P's in this step. Preview the material. Prepare the material. Prepare the environment. Prepare the learners, and provide the learning experience. The 4th step in the Assure model is to require learner participation. The creators of the model likely highlight the active learning participation as a step of its own because they feel like it was a critical component to authentic learning. Learner participation can involve practice, feedback, discussion, written responses, quizzes, hands-on exercises, and activities. The most important part is getting the learner involved. Evaluate and revise is the final step in the Assure model. Evaluation and revision are each a critical component to the design process, as they focus on examining what students learned as well and the quality of the instruction design. The authors of the Assure model stress that evaluation should be ongoing and that it shouldn't just focus on the end of the lesson. It's the starting point of the next and continuing cycle in our systematic Assure model for effective use of instructional media. It should look specifically at learner achievement as well as the media and methods used. So there you have it. That's the Assure model. While it's a very simple model, there are lots of things to consider and is a tool that many educators and teachers are using in their classrooms still today. And based on the research for this project, this tool and model has been very successful. So there you have it. Assure, analyze learners, state objectives, select methods, media and materials, utilize media and materials, require learner participation, and evaluate and revise. Thank you.